Hello and welcome back to Empyrion Galactic Survival. Just a quick update video for you guys. Alpha Experimental 8.2 has been released by Empyrion Studios today at 8:56 AM, nice bright and early in the morning, which is great. This is an experimental release, so I'm just going to quickly go through the patch notes, but just before I do that, if you want to participate in the experimental releases that Empyrion put out for Empyrion, all you need to do is go into your Steam, right-click Empyrion Galactic Survival in your game list, go to Properties, then select the Betas tab. Under Select Betas you would like to opt into, click the drop-down and select Experimental Unstable Test Branch. Click that and click Close, and then just wait for the game to update. So while that's updating, let's have a look through the patch notes here. So you can see the patch notes. I've linked them down below in the video description. Have a read through. There's some really good stuff in here. So first of all, they've created a new desert planet as a starting planet. This is like Omicron 2.0, which looks, you know, nice and stuff. So they go into a bit more detail about that and some more screenshots down below. I particularly like the fact that they reference it as a Tatooine-style desert planet. As we continue to go down, one thing that's really exciting is that they've added homogeneous group settings to the control panel. What this means is that you can now set device properties, i.e. things like turret targeting rules, by group. They've got a screenshot here of setting the color of these flares from the group header rather than the individual devices. So this is great. This is going to make managing and changing, customizing your devices within your builds a lot easier. So that's great, and I'm really happy for that change. They then go on to say they've set all POIs to regenerate. As before, some partially underground POIs would not regenerate, so it seems that they've got around that issue. They've improved the AI behavior of Xerax overseers crawlers, and they've changed those as shotgun Xerax try and chase you down, whereas minigun Xerax slowly approach. For example, the troop transport hopefully now is able to take off and land, which is nice. Interesting entry here under gameplay. They have increased the structure limit from 255 to 65,535 per playfield. An enormous increase, and there's a very good reason why they've done this. If I head back up towards the start of the changelog, one of the things I just drifted over while I was looking at the screenshots is something called dynamic structure loading, DSL for short. And what this basically means is that they are now unloading structures on active playfields when they are not in render distance. Okay, so it goes on a bit more detail on that. I'll let you guys read that if you want to. But what this means is that structures on a playfield only now actually enter the game, enter memory on your system in the game in real terms when they're actually in viewable distance. Other than that, they're unloaded. Whereas before, all structures were loaded into memory on an active playfield, and that would obviously have performance impacts. Now with DSL in place, they can quite safely increase the maximum amount of structures because only visible structures will actually occupy memory. So this is quite interesting indeed. Another useful feature that I think a lot of people are going to like is the fact that you can now use Shift F to instant pick up a backpack or dropped container. There's then a few nice little changes here and there about statistics, showing certain fuel, maximum fuel, things like that. This is all little odds and sods, which are nice changes, but nothing groundbreaking. Reduce the shaking of the multi-tool survival tool, great. Added O2 tanks to the essential category. Not sure I really agree with that, but whatever. And if we carry on going down, we've added coffee plants, big flowers as buds, which is amazing because now that we can grow buds, we can make ration packs, the emergency ration packs within our own farms. We don't need to go out and occasionally go and find and harvest some buds out in the wild anymore. We can make a proper farm that can churn out ration packs, which is brilliant. They've done some updates to the model textures of the iron cannons. We'll have a look at that later. Improved particle effects of the slime, whoop-de-doo. This one I quite liked because I had a problem with this in my early Let's Play episodes. They've tweaked the interior glass of Cockpit 4 and it's now more transparent. Thank you very much. Very good. And then go on through some of the UI updates, which are excellent. Again, I'll let you guys read through those. A few more screenshots of the higher resolution splat maps for Class 3 planets, which do look very nice. And we got some nice beaches going on in there, which is wonderful. Some updated deco and fog densities and things like that, which are all great. They've added a new prefab base to the list. Thank you very much, J. Randall. It's a very good base. And they've also updated the Tier 6 SV, thanks to Piston. They then go on to more technical updates. So the SSG, which I haven't even covered yet because I don't really know how to use it yet. Controller updates, PDA updates, and so on and so forth. And then they go into, obviously, the bug fixing thing. But again, I'm not going to go through all of those. You're welcome to go and have a look through them yourself. Link in the video description down below. Let's have a look in-game to see how some of these changes look. Okay, so in the game, if you want to experience the new 8.2 experimental features, you will have to start a new game. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to stick with the default random, and I'm just going to check some stuff out. So what we got is start location N, or start location Slek, N Slek. That'll obviously change depending on our seed. The names are randomly generated. So I'm going to start here on the new Omicron 2.0 planet. I'm not going to change any of the settings. Let's just go. Okay, here we go, and we got our first glimpse of this new desert planet that is apparently Tatooine-like in nature. I like the way they just drop names into their patch notes now. Yeah, Star Wars. I'm not really sure how we're going to be able to demonstrate the new structure loading mechanic that they've got in the game, where they unload everything, because obviously as we fly around, things will load in. But one thing that does interest me is what the performance impact of this change is. So what I am going to do in a moment, once my pod has crashed and I can get out, is I am going to go into God mode. Ooh, that's new. Interesting. We have a Robinson protocol on this planet. Okay, that's good. We'll be interested to see what that looks like. I'm assuming it's exactly the same protocol, but obviously on a different planet. So let's have a look at the map. First of all, map shows all objects. This is what our map looks like, which is nice. So with the map command enabled, we could see the entire map, and everything looks great and fine. Now, the patch notes said that basically at 1.2 kilometers is the view range of my dude here. So anything within 1.2 kilometers should be rendered in memory. Unfortunately, I can't. It would be nice to have like a little circle around myself so I could see actually exactly how far that is. But let's see. If we go into God mode, we can now fly like Superman. Let's head towards the alien tower over there, which we can't see at the moment. That's in that rough direction there. Now, if I start heading towards it, bearing in mind that God mode we fly at sort of 300 meters per second. Now, I don't know whether that was a fair test or not, but I didn't notice any stuttering. So let's carry on round to a little bit more dense POIs. And I'm going to head in that direction, straight at that cluster of POIs over here. Now, we might be in escaping daylight here, but I'm going to carry on. Oh, about. Just adjust my trajectory. And again, these things would have loaded in. They wouldn't have been in memory, so they've just loaded in. And I didn't notice any stuttering or slowdown there, so that's really good. I'm going to head south now to the next group down here. And again, let me just bring up my frames per second so we can actually see what's going on. And we've got another cluster up there, so I'm going to head over there now. Now we are losing daylight, which makes it a little bit harder to see. But let's keep an eye on that frames per second in the top right corner of my screen as we zip across the map here. And it does dip a little bit as we spawn more things in. And there we go, we can see there is 1.2 kilometers. We've got another one, unknown structure a little bit beyond that. Now I can't see that currently, and there, that just popped in. And does it unload? If we back off, there, unloads. As we back off, there we go, they've all disappeared now. So now apparently, according to the patch notes, we're 1.2 kilometers away. They will be removed from memory. Let's rush towards them. There's maybe a drop of 1 frame a second. This one, actually, there we go. That took a while to load in. Well, this POI just shoots the crap out of me. So that's interesting. That's the new mechanics. And obviously, I'm not being entirely fair because I'm using God mode, and that travels a lot faster than, say, an SV or anything. So what I'm going to do for fairness is I'm going to spawn in an SV. So, SVP. Where the hell is Fusion Cells gone? Oh, that's the new Fusion Cell icon. Well, they've changed all the icons around again. That's a large Promethean pack, apparently. I like these ones up here. These are cool. Motor, look at that. That's very nice. Anyway, I'm not here to review icons. We're here to fly and make sure that things pop with efficiency without damaging my frames per second too much. Okay, so we've got the Nightshade here, and obviously got a max speed of 50 meters per second. I just need to head almost directly northwest. And we're going to keep an eye on the frames per second as we load in these POIs. Obviously, I'm going a lot slower than I was when I was in God mode. So that's what I mean about being a fair test. I suppose zipping around in God mode, you can absolutely expect things to pop in front of your face. In an SV, these things seem to be loading into view quite nicely, and they're not rendering weirdly, unexpectedly. So that's good. And we're about to get our asses kicked by these POIs, I think. But yeah, the one over there just loaded in as well, and we didn't really notice a drop in frame, maybe by 1 frame a second or something like that. So there we go. That's the new. Apparently, that's the new dynamic structure loading (DSL) mechanic that's in 8.2 experimental. So if I pull in a little hover tank here, the Demon Mark 1. This doesn't have grouped things. I never bothered to do it. So let's auto group that now. And the new grouping should allow me, and there you go. I've got a group of turrets here, 5 turrets, and now I can configure these en masse. Oh my god, you do not believe how much of a relief that is, especially when you start dealing with structures with hundreds of turrets. And having to go through and manually configure every single one of them. You can now do it by group. That is absolutely wonderful. And also, as we saw on, I don't have any flares on this build, unfortunately. As we saw on the screenshots there, we could also set light color and things like that by group as well. So that'll be useful for configuring bases. But there we go. That's the new grouping. That's the new DSL. That's all very interesting and wonderful to look at. We've got a load of new icons. The pentaxid icons look wonderful. I like those. And some new icons on what we might core looks interesting. Although actually, I think I prefer the old one. But yeah, this is going to take some getting used to. Some adjusting. They also said that they've updated things like the model of the ion cannon, so we can go and have a quick look at one of those. There's an ion cannon. It looks pretty much exactly the same as it used to me. It may be that they need to update all the POIs with a new model of ion cannon there, so we'll wait to see that one. But that looks like the exact same model that was used to be there. Bad example, Spanj. Bad example. Probably scratch that one entirely. Okay, cool. Okay, the other thing was that they added a new prefab base, so we can have a quick look at that as well. That'll be down here, prefab tier 2, was it? Well, it was that one. There we go, the prefab tier 2A. I'm just going to spawn that in somewhere nice, and there we go. Nice and easy. Trying to find a bit of land that's as flat as possible. There's a nice little base, tier 2A. Cost-wise, 1,000 stone dust. Marginal everything else. We've got a bit of glass, we've got a nice sized hangar bay, all the grow plots are here with room to expand. We've got a nice expansion point for a repair pad there, a couple of constructors, clone bay, some cargo boxes, some nice deco going on in here as well. And outside we've got solar panels, cannon turrets, landing pads for SVs. Now with the solar panels, they are all the way around, so I guess park it on the equator and it doesn't really matter which way you face it, but you might want to add to those solar panels at your earliest convenience. So that is the new prefab base. That's very nice. We've all seen the prefab T6 SV, but I'll show you any bit because it is just so bloody impressive. As are a lot of Pistons builds, but there we go. That's the tier 6 prefab SV. It is enormous. It is very good. It is a very good showcase of build skills, design skills, and well, it's pretty typical of Piston, to be honest, to be able to produce something this gorgeous and beautiful. So there we go. It's the tier 6 prefab by Piston that has been apparently updated. So there we go. So the other improvements that they mentioned were improved AI for the Zirax and things like that. It'll be interesting to see how that actually manifests. I'm sure it won't be too different from what it already was. So there we go. Welcome to Omicron 2.0, the new desert starting planet for Empyrion. Alpha 8.2 experimental release. This should be an extra challenge. Like the old Omicron, there is no oxygen here, so you will need to worry about oxygen from the offset. Fortunately, they do give you an emergency O2 generator and a little bit of fuel to get started over here, so you've got that at least going for you. It will be an interesting challenge to see if they do adjust it to be more or less difficult. Obviously, from my little God mode fly around, I'm unable to tell at this point, but there's some really good and interesting updates in this release, so I'm looking forward to seeing more. And thank you, Elion, for the homogeneous grouping and allowing me to configure turrets by group header. That made me so happy. Such a little change, but there we go. Some great updates, and I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys enjoy this video too. If you did, consider giving it a thumbs up. Thank you very much if you do. And also, if you want to see more Empyrion content from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Until then, take care. Bye bye.